All right. So this, what is this? Oh, no configuration. Good. New file. Let's call this example.html. And at the same time, we're gonna have the same file, create new file, example.php. So let's see what I mean by the content being generated on the server. Let's start off by what we know already, which is the HTML. Okay, I'm gonna add some HTML structure here. So this is example HTML. So as we said, let's say that I have an H1 that says this is generated on the user's computer. Thank you. Script. Actually, if you want to turn everything off, maybe it would be better for you to see. Yeah? There you go. So, script type. Okay. And I want to generate a drop-down menu to select your H. So let's say choose your H. And the H will start. This will be an select name H. Alright, and I'm going to use a loop for I equals 0, while I is smaller than, let's say, someone could be 99 years old, so 100 or 100 years old, I++. And what I'm going to do is a document.write option value So this is going to generate a drop-down menu from 0. Actually, I'm going to start at 1. From 1 to 100. Okay? This is JavaScript. Okay, this is the example HTML, which happens on the user. That's what I have here. This is generated on the user's computer, right? Now I'm going to copy the exact same thing and redo it on PHP. Now this is a PHP file. You see, the moment I say .php, the server knows it's a PHP file, so the server will try to execute any PHP happening here first. All right? And I'm going to change, instead of JavaScript, I'm going to say PHP open close PHP. Same thing, right? Instead of the scripts, I'm going to use PHP. The for loop is exactly the same, except that instead of var, we use a $sign. That's how we declare variables, with a $sign. So every variable needs a $sign. And instead of document.write, we use echo. Okay, then this is $sign, and very important, semicolon at the end of every line in PHP. If not, it's going to crash. Now, in PHP, we do not concatenate with a plus sign, we concatenate with dots, exactly. There you go. There you go, that's it. So it's the same, exactly the same, one in JavaScript, one in PHP, right? But even if it looks the same, let's see. We go to Eduardo Hertz in Web Design Night, PHP, and let's start with the example.html. Choose your H. Error. Classic. Yeah, I didn't close this one. But do you see how flexible is JavaScript? Make a mistake, no problem. Still you can see something, right? Alright, there you go. Now, I'm gonna try the PHP. Exactly the same thing. But PHP, you make one mistake, that's it, it's gonna crash. Alright, so no mistakes in PHP, no errors. Okay, now number 2. Here's the important part. I'm gonna go back to HTML. So all of this is generated with JavaScript on the user side. Let's say that I'm Google, I'm a robot, and I'm trying to see the content of this page. I'm gonna see the source. What I can actually see is this. That's what I see. That's the source, right? 4 bar, the actual JavaScript. Well, in PHP, I actually see the real code generated. Right? Because it was generated on the server, and the server sent the HTML already created. So this is actually better for SEO. Google can actually read this. This is actually there, right? Let me make it look nicer. I'm going to add here at the end and enter. Just to put spaces between the code. There you go. Right? So if I try to see the source, that's the real source that the server sent back. It's actually there. HTML, this is executed on my computer. So my computer is generating this, but the source is still the JavaScript that I saw. Okay? At the same time, since this in PHP is executed in the server, since I'm still in the server, I'm not yet what I'm programming is not sent yet to the user. At this point, I can make a connection to the database. I can bring content from the database. I can generate content in HTML from the database, dynamic content, and send back a complete different page every time to the user. Okay? Questions? No? We're good? Okay. Now, different to JavaScript, right? JavaScript, we can make a script here inside the body. We can have a script inside the head, right? And that's it. Nowhere else. You cannot have scripts here. Never. You cannot have scripts like in between these guys. Never. You cannot have scripts like after HTML. Possible. So you can only have scripts inside the head or in the body, right? Since PHP is executed on the server, it doesn't matter where you execute it, because at the end it's not going to be sent to the user. At the end, the user is not going to see if you wrote it here, right? If you wrote your PHP here, or if you wrote a bit more of PHP here, or a bit of PHP here. It doesn't really matter where you put PHP, as long as you don't generate content what is not supposed to be. If I put here echo hello, well, that's an error. I'm generating HTML where I'm not supposed to put HTML, right? I'm generating hello before the doc type, right? But instead, maybe I can I can declare some variables here, like a variable, let's say a variable, I don't know, date equals to the year, the month, and the day. Right? And I declare another variable for, I don't know, well, let's stick with the date for now. Let's say that I have a variable here, date. It was generated here, but I'm not creating any content. Right? And maybe I can use this variable later to echo it somewhere else. Like I'm gonna echo here inside the title the date. Now echo date. Right? At the end, what I'm going to see in HTML is example HTML 2013-06-18. So I'm not going to see this. I'm not going to see this. I'm not going to see any of this. I'm going to see the result of this. I'm going to see the result of this code. So I come back here to the PHP view page source, and there you go, example HTML 2013-06, and before doc type there's nothing. Right? Because that was PHP that was executed on the server. Okay? Questions? Yes. Good.